Hey everybody, greetings. It is me, your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend, Joe Seeby. And happy Thursday, guys. And Thursday is our class that we like to call Picture This. Picture This is when I give you an image, a photograph, a painting, any kind of graphic, visual image, and your job is to write a song chorus for that picture. Now, we've been doing this for quite a while, and I think it's a great way to express because it gives you a subject matter that you have to deal with right there in front of you. Instead of just trying to think of a million things and staring at a blank piece of paper for 2.5 hours, this kind of gives you a starting point. And what you do with it is entirely up to you. But everyone is given the same material, which is cool. But you're going to get a million different stories. If you give any picture to 1,000 songwriters, they're all going to have a different story based on what that picture is and what it means to them personally. Now, and I say this every week and I'll continue because it really is true. Whatever that picture that I show you, whatever that makes you think about, that's what you should write about. Again, I say this every week. This is your universe. You are the king or the queen of this universe that you've created. You're creating your own universe, your own world. This picture, or the picture that I'm about to show you, is the blueprint for your creativity. So whatever comes from it is legitimate. The only rule in this whole thing is that it's got to rhyme. It's a song. Songs rhyme. It's got to tell a story. That's number 2. And number 3, it's got to make sense to the listener. They have to understand where it is you're coming from with the idea. What I mean by that is it's like sometimes like 2 people share an intimate joke and it's only those 2 people get it. It can't be something like that. It's got to be something that everybody understands the minute they read it. They understand the universal message in that piece of literature or songwriting that you've just created. Even if it was transferred into a different language, if it was transferred from English to French, the French should still get it, even, in the translation. So that's the only rule of thumb. Other than that, this is entirely up to you. And it could be a picture of a lake. And if that lake makes you think about your ex-girlfriend because you guys, the last time you saw each other was at a lake, then you should write about your girlfriend. The lake should be in it somewhere, but it's not really the important part. The picture is the catalyst for you to just start as a starting point to write something creative. Whatever it incites, then I want you to write that. Even if it almost doesn't really relate to the picture after it's there, it's a starting point that helped you create something or start the building blocks to whatever it is you end up with on your paper. Okay? So that is more important to me than the actual picture. But I will say this. This is the way that I always seem to go about this when I do this. Okay. What I do is, well, even just looking for a picture, I'll go through tons of Google images, or I'll see something in a magazine, or I'll see something online or something. And it's an image on Google, and I'll look at tons of them. And the one that jumps out at me, the one that really tells a story, even though there's no words in the picture, That's the one that I'll go to, or the one that just I gravitate visually to because there's something interesting in it. I guess subliminally I see a story there, where there isn't one. I mean, the picture's telling the story, but there's really no words to define it. And so what I do, and what I recommend you guys do, is stare into that picture. You can pause this video. When I show the photograph finally, you can pause the video, stare at this thing until your heart's content. And then I want you to take your pen and paper and I want you to write down everything that you see physically in the picture. Okay? If there's a tree, if there's mountains in the background, if there's an airplane in the sky, write everything down that's physically in the photograph. Don't worry about rhyming yet. Don't worry about none of that stuff, okay? Just write down all the physical attributes in the photograph, or all the visual cues. Write it all down. Write it down like almost like a grocery list. Then I want you to stare at the picture until you go into a daydream and you're not even, here anymore. You know how like you stare at something for a long time and then everything in your sight of vision just kind of dissolves and you're up in here and you're in some kind of little movie daydream? When you pull back out of that daydream and suddenly you're sitting again at your desk or wherever it is you're sitting in your house, write down everything you saw. Write down everything you saw in that little daydream. Then start to make sense with rhymes and look at words. Try to find rhymes within those words. And that'll really help you out. So anyway, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the photograph that I've picked for tonight's Picture This study. And when we come back, I will show you what I wrote to it and what made me come to the decisions that I made in my writing. I don't want you to follow what I do because I want you to pursue your own story for this picture. But without further ado, let's get to that photograph. So here it is. Enjoy. Okay, so you saw the photograph. And remember, you can always pause it during this video. Hit the pause button on your YouTube and take all the time you need to really look at that photograph. Get lost in it until it's a daydream. I want you to be in the picture. So you saw it. It's a guy and a girl, and they're jumping in the water. I love the picture. You can see the sun kind of gleaming by the girl's head. It just looks, I don't know. Something about that picture just said something to me, and it made me I loved it. I just was like, so I'm staring at it for a long time, and suddenly I go into a daydream because I have been that guy in this picture. Not exactly, but I mean, I've had scenes in my life that look like this with people that I was in a relationship with. And there's no better feeling in the world than sharing your life with somebody like this on an adventure that looks like that. So I'm going to read to you what I wrote based on this photograph. Are you ready? Here it is. So I pictured this person who I just knew I should be with because they make me feel good. They make me feel alive. And that's an alive picture. So here's what I wrote. Your poetry in motion. I'm caught up in the emotion. I feel good when I'm around you. and feel the love as it surrounds you. You're good for me. You're good to me. You'll always be my destiny. I'm going to read it one more time. Your poetry in motion. I'm caught up in the emotion. Or your poetry in motion, caught up in the emotion. I feel good when I'm around you and feel the love as it surrounds you. You're good for me. You're good to me. You'll always be my destiny. Now, I have a melody for this too, but I'm not going to reveal it yet because that's for a later date. Anyway, those are the lyrics that I wrote for this. And I just thought I'm really proud of my lyrics. Looking at that photograph, I feel like I captured the true spirit of that photograph based on my history and my feelings for a partner when I did things in this manner. So I can't wait to see what you guys write for this. All right, guys, that is all the time that we have for tonight. Again, this is your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend, Joe Seeby. I can't wait to see what you guys write. Let's talk about it in the next Zoom class. We'll talk about the photograph. Anyway, guys, I love you all. Be safe. Be well. Take care of yourself and your families. I love you guys, and have a good night. Peace.